What is up, wrestling fans? It is that time of the week for the Fanlight Wrestling Team to talk all things pro wrestling and call it right down the middle. That's right, it's time for this week's edition of 607 TWS, The Wrestling Show. Of course, that is powered by FanlightZone.com. I am your host, Rich. Joining me in the co-pilot chair, as she does each and every week, she is the hunter of the Pokemons because she's got to catch them all. She is also the guru of cosplay, but most importantly for this show, she is a connoisseur of all things pro grappling. She's the first lady of Fanlight Zone. Miss Sammy, how are you this week?
I'm doing great. I'm riding a high of predicting a perfect double or nothing card. So
yeah,
yay to me.
I mean, the broken clock's right twice a day. Of course, the other host here today, who's doing his due diligence to get the word out to everybody out there at social medias. You know, the host of the Ocho Duro Parlay podcast, better known as the ODPH. He is the CEO and editor-in-chief of Fanlight Zone and FanlightZone.com. So he means he's the boss around these parts. And most importantly, he is the Gunther to my Ludwig Kaiser. That'll make sense to some. He is the one and only Ken M.
You know, I was in a down mood because Logan Paul, unfortunately, is out. But like a phoenix, he will rise from the ashes and he will carry on WWE in SummerSlam and beyond. But folks, in the meantime, though, we want you to join in the chat here. So wherever you're following us, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Make sure you're hitting the likes. Make sure you're doing the due diligence. Follow us on social media. We have a lot of things going on here at Fanlight Zone, so we will make sure that we are interacting with you, and we want to make sure that we're talking all that pro wrestling. You want to see more of the wrestling content, hit the thumbs up. Let me know. Let the team here know, and we'll get you some more of that going because there's a lot happening at the home of comics pop culture.
That is right. We have a lot going on, a ton going on, as a matter of fact. And we got even more. We have a huge show to you for today because obviously later on we will be previewing WWE's Clash in Italy, which goes down this upcoming Sunday. We will have to remind me later on. I have to say Sunday because it is Sunday.
Yes.
We've gotten used to the Saturday pay-per-views. And yes, I called them pay-per-views because if you know, you know. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Of course, we will also be talking about what went down at Dynamite because opening the show, we are going to be talking about what went down this past weekend. And that, of course, Ken, if you will, so Lily put the lovely graphic for it up. That's right. AEW's Double or Nothing 2026 went down this past Sunday from the Louis Armstrong Arena in Queens, New York City. And of course, it was a happening and a half. Of course, if we always like the chat to join in, so make sure you join in. Let us know what you thought about the show because we're going to break down this entire show match by match. We are going to lump together, though, the pre-show matches because, yeah, they're pre-show matches.
Yeah.
Not that they were bad. Just their pre-show matches.
Exactly.
So the three pre-show matches, there was three of them that we got. We had a 5-minute tag team eliminator match. Your AEW Women's World Tag Team Champions, Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lana Cross, taking on Zeta Steel and Viva Von. This match got 4 minutes and 46 seconds. At the end of the day, Divine Dominion would win the match. So no title shot for Zeta Steel and Viva Von. The next up would be a trios match where the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and Wheeler Yuta would defeat the Ops, Anthony Bowens, Hook, and Shibata in 10 minutes and 35 seconds. And last, but certainly not least, because it would not be an AEW buy-in without a 10-man tag team extravaganza. And this one would see Boom and Doom, Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall teaming with the conglomeration Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong to take on Shane Taylor Promotions. That's right, our friend Shane Taylor, Anthony Ogogo, Captain Sean Dean, Carly Bravo, and Lee Moriarty. Of course, the Big Boom and the Boom and Doom and the conglomeration would get the win in 6 minutes and 30 seconds, as I mentioned. Overall, good pre-show. As far as the matches went. I'm going to talk about some sides to this notes here in a second because I think it plays into the main show. But match-wise, Sammy, we'll start with you. What did you think of the pre-show? The buy-in?
Yeah, pre-show. Yeah, no, the pre-show, the buy-in, it was fine. It did its job. It really did a great job setting up the rest of the card. And there was some appearances by people I didn't know they were still employed. So. Yeah,
it's always a fun time. By the way, before I pass it to you, Big Boom AJ, got a little lacerated by accident in a match. So we even had a little bit of blood in the pre-show. Ken,
you know, anytime we have Eddie Kingston crash the party, you know it's a good time. The Mad King returned. So, very solid opening show, I would say, for the pre-show.
I love Eddie Kingston, but we had pitched a way better spot
Yes.
for Eddie Kingston to return. Instead, Leo Rush ended up somehow in a weird spot there. We'll talk about that later on the main card. The one thing that was the big note, I think I'm going to say the elephant in the room, of course, this was the AEW debut of their newest correspondent, the hardcore legend Mick Foley. And, oh boy, listen, I love Mick Foley. I want to start off by saying this. I love Mick Foley. But am I the only one that thought that he was not excited in the least to be there? Like, he did not deliver that normal, like, hey, we're here in Queens, New York. The only time it kind of came out was with his promo with MJF, because for reasons we got a promo with the man that was in the main event right before the show goes on air. But I digress. And even then, I don't feel like he delivered the passion that Mick Foley normally brings out. I don't know. Is that just me? Ken, what did you think about Mick Foley's first debut here in AEW?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it just kind of felt off. And maybe it was, being in front of the crowd, the motion of the moment. Maybe that played a factor. But I do agree with it. It did not seem like a normal Mick Foley promo, like a moment there.
Sammy, how'd you feel about Mick Foley's correspondent debut for All Elite Wrestling?
I think he'll bring enough to the table overall, but yeah, this just didn't feel right. And he's not someone that pops up in WWE very often either over the past few years. So, we haven't really seen him in a while. He took a bump, a little bump. So there's that. That's kind of cool. I really don't want to see him get in the ring, but I mean, at some point they'll probably debut another belt and Foley will get to display it. I mean, he's good for that. So
listen, and I listen, I love Mick Foley, but like when you're out there to be the hype person, like Renee did a great job as always. I'm gonna give credit to that. And we've really gotten having RJ City out there. We've really gotten used to that. He brings a lot to the table as far as that as well. And then Mick Foley was just basically like, talking like this most of the thing. And usually he's not that way. That was weird to me, especially like a pretty much hometown crowd. You got to remember, Mick Foley's from Long Island, New York. You're in Queens, New York. You are literally right next to Long Island. So it is as close to a hometown show for him as you possibly can be without being in his backyard.
Yeah. So it should have had more emotion to it, but no, I hate saying going through the motions, but honestly it was.
Yeah, and like I said, he got a little bit fired up during the spot with MJF, but not like enough where I was like, oh, this is what I want to see. And like, I feel like he could bring so much more to the table. And like, really, in essence, like this is a guy who, and I'm leaving a lot of this out because there's a piece that neither of these folks know about at the end of the show where I'm going to rant on some stuff. But his beef with WWE and TKO, valid as it is, you would think he would want to come out and really bury them. And I'm not saying talk smack about them on the mic. I'm saying come out, show them that, hey, this is the old Mick Foley who would just come out and be like, from Queens, New York, and have the crowd pop. And instead it was just like, yeah, the next match should be okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe it was just nerves. I don't know, but somebody is a pro. I don't know. All right, let's go to the main card. We opened hot, by the way. We opened real hot. It was a New York street fight. Also, an I Quit match. So dual gimmicks. When you don't get just one gimmick, you get two for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And by the way, it was actually triple gimmick. I'll get to that in a second. As the FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler would defend the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Cage and Cope, Christian Cage and Adam Copeland. And the third of the trifecta gimmick was if Cage and Cope lost, they would have to disband as a tag team forever. So there was three gimmicks. Street fight, I Quit match, disbandment. This match got 19 minutes, 35 seconds. At the end of the day, your winners and the new AEW World Tag Team Champions, Cage and Cope. They did it. They pulled it off. And here we are, better for it. I enjoyed this match quite a bit. Honestly, I thought in a lot of ways, it was definitely better than their last match.
Yes.
Not the first match. I think it was on par with that first match, but we were pretty critical of the second match because the second match was kind of, it looked like there were some growing pains there. This match, though, I thought was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot. Miss Sammy, what did you think of the AEW World Tag Team Championship match?
This was the best start to some sort of a PLE pay-per-view I've seen in a long time. This was a hot start. It was a hot crowd. They kept the energy up. It didn't overstay its welcome. That everyone was able to get their stuff in. They didn't have to go over the top in a lot of ways, which I think is nice because sometimes AEW, in my personal taste, they go a little too far. They didn't have to do that here, and it told a wonderful story. And we're on to Wembley.
Ken, before I pass it to you, because I know you're going to bring it up anyways, so I might as well do the good host duties here. We did get a Beth Phoenix run in. They kind of left us saying why at one point, but I don't think that was a detriment totally, but it was kind of strange. What's your thoughts on the match?
They wanted to go over the top to really get this feud to Wembley. I mean, that's the ultimate goal with this. I mean, I think this is probably the most predictable way because the money match is the triple threat between the Bucks, FTR, and Cope and Cage, unless they add one other team in there, because I know they made some noise about it. So I think they did the right things here. I mean, was it a little overbooked? Sure, but honestly, nobody cared because this is two veteran tag teams that know how to bring a story to life, and they absolutely did it. I
agree. I thought it was really good. The Beth Phoenix stuff was kind of strange to me because it was a little out of place. There was a couple missed spots in that part. That was the only time. I don't want to say sloppy because it makes it sound so terrible, but that was the only time they really kind of got a little bogged down. I think it was kind of like that. I think it was an interesting spot because I think there was giving Cage and Cope a little bit of time to recoup. You got to remember, both of these guys are, and this is not an insult because they both look amazing. They're still out there putting on a great show, but you got to remember they're aging up. So like you have to give them a minute, and they really threw it all at literally everything was thrown out there. I thought they did a fantastic job. So giving them a couple seconds to catch their breath, I have zero problem with it. I think that was really what it was. I think that was why there was a little bit of a hiccup. Yeah, let's timestamp it right now on this show. Wembley will be TLC or whatever they have to call it because I don't think they can call it TLC. It will be a 4-way.
Yep.
It's going to be the Bucks. It's going to be the FTR. It's going to be Cope and Cage defending the titles, and it's going to be the New Day or whatever the New Day will be called. Because if I'm making matches for the biggest show of the year and they're available, which they are, mark it on the calendar. That's the match. And I think that would be the smart match. And I think that even Miss Sammy, who is given a eulogy about tag team wrestling, would agree that would be a hell of a tag team match.
That would be a hell of a tag team match and really put a stamp in WWE's tag team division being dead.
Oh, yeah. That would piss all over that grave and then some, and I'm here for it. Anyways, next up is the AEW International Championship match. First and foremost, your champion, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada, taking on the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita. This match got 19 minutes flat. And at the end of the day, your winner and the new AEW International Champion, the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita. Phenomenal match. Everything we thought it was going to be, because obviously you take one of the greatest wrestlers of all time in Okada, you put him in there against a wrestler who could be one of the greatest of all time, definitely going to make an argument for it in Takeshita, but still young in his career. And you're going to have magic. And we got the magic we expected. And we also got extra magic. Before I pass it to you, Ken, the National Nightmare is over. Takeshita is no longer in the Don Callis family. And even more importantly for you, we have the return of Go-Go Kyle Fletcher.
Go Kyle Fletcher.
So your thoughts on the match and everything that took place after?
Well, I mean, after was the real main event. I mean, the star came in and took the spotlight like he should. No, I mean, this match, you could argue a match of the year candidate. They really brought out the best of strong style and to the AEW style. Like, it was just perfect. Like, they told a great story. The right call was made. You need to separate Takeshita from the Don Callis family. Bringing back Kyle Fletcher, I mean, it's great to see him back, I will say, because, I mean, that was a bad injury he took. But it was great to see him come back. I like the fact that they did not have him go face.
Oh, I like that too.
That he stayed heel, because I thought that there was a chance they might do that, but I'm glad they set up their feud, and I think that's gonna be a great match for All In if they decide to wait that long. But I went down Forbidden Door.
I wouldn't doubt it either, but it depends on how healthy Kyle Fletcher is, because I know that he's being cleared in a way, but I would pull off. Honestly, I would do what they did with him on Dynamite. I thought it was perfect. He's still not wrestling. He's coming out. We saw him. We saw him in a very brief action thing with Takeshita, which is very safe. I would hold it off just because of that, because I think there's way more money to be made. Listen, I'm still not sold on the Kyle Fletcher gimmick.
Mhm.
I like Kyle Fletcher as the wrestler. I will say that the gimmick has always been like, is what I don't like. But I will say this: he has the natural ability he has carries him into bigger matches, and you have some built-in feuds easily. You have Takeshita, and then from Takeshita, you could easily move him back to Will Ospreay, who presumably will be a world champion at some point.
Yeah.
So like I'm not saying it all in, it might be it all in, but even if it's not, at some point he will be, and moving him there. So you can move him up because of feuds, you can move him up the ladder in the card pretty easily. Not to mention he's a good looking kid.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like he's a good looking kid. He just has to find his gimmick. And I don't think he's found that yet. Although the say my name thing it might get over.
No,
it might get over.
No, because he's say my full name.
Say my full name.
Like why? Just it's
so
too
you
long.
can basically say Kyle fucking Fletcher.
I mean,
and if I'm AEW, that's what I'm doing. Instead of Seth freaking Rollins, see, he was going about it wrong before. He was ripping off Randy Orton.
Mhm.
He was ripping off Miles Bourne. Now go right after Seth freaking Rollins, but have the balls to say fucking. You know, we're enough in the video. I can get away with saying that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Sammy, what was your thoughts on the AEW International Championship match?
Is this Okada's best match in AEW? I mean, I think that's really the question. There's been some,
Possible.
Yeah, right. Like if you really start going through the library stuff, Okada's not young in years. However, he's not overly old in years either. However, one could say that his work in AEW has been, but this showed when the Rainmaker wants to go, the Rainmaker still can go. And this, like you said, match of the year candidate. Right,
I think he had a couple good ones though. I'll give him credit. Him and Omega had a good match, which I think you can put them both in there at 90 years old with walkers, and they're going to find a way to have a good match. They just have the chemistry that you can't buy. He had a good match with the Moxley in the Continental Finals. That was a really good match. I mean, he lost that match, but it was a really good match. But yeah, I think this might be his best. But here's the other thing that I was waiting for you to say. Okada, now you can move him into that title picture.
Yes.
Because we have a route through All In, but after All In, you do not have a route. And he's an easy plug and play guy. If you do pull the trigger and put the belt on Will Ospreay, it's a real easy storyline and real easy plug and play to put Okada against him. They do have a storied past. They do have a rivalry from the past. And it would play out well. Especially, who knows where the New Japan deal is, because that was interesting this week. I don't know. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but New Japan pulled all the AEW content off of the world.
Yeah, that was interesting, but we'll have to wait.
We'll have to wait and see. Wait and find out. I'm not going to speculate any further than that. I just happen to know that come out. So depending upon what you have, all that stuff. Let's move on though. Women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match. So the first Owen Hart match, and it's in the women's bracket. You have your forever champion, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, taking on Mina Sarakawa. This match got 11 minutes flat. At the end of the day, your winner, and moving on in the Owen Hart Cup, Athena, the forever champ, moves on. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, though. Is that going to change in this tournament? I don't know. Miss Sammy, what say you?
This is where the show started to cool off overall. Not that this was a bad match, but after you have those two matches in a row, to move into this, I didn't really love it. I didn't think it was a great pairing. Overall, the match was fine, but based upon what we're seeing in the Owen on the women's side, I don't think Athena's going to win at all.
I will say this. Originally, this match was supposed to be Willow Nightingale's match. It was supposed to be Willow Nightingale and Alex Windsor. Was that her opponent for the first round, I think?
I think so.
Yes. So that was supposed to happen here. And instead of happening here, we had to move it around. Now, here's the problem. Depending upon who the TBA is for Alex Windsor, it still would have been a smart move to keep that here. Because let's say the TBA for Alex Windsor is, and I mean, we don't know anything, but we speculated it could be a Mercedes Moné if she's still there. We speculated, I don't think Toni Storm, because I don't think she's back from injury, but you have a roster of women who could be that spot and a big spot in there, which it could be or couldn't be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's my
right. Like it feels like it's going to be a name, so that name is going to be potentially the winner, because we're all kind of assuming Willow was going to win this. So
right. I was assuming that hardcore. Ken, your thoughts on the Women's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match?
Well, I mean, it was a solid match, but I agree. There's just something about just something missing about this. I mean, Athena, this is her time. It's now or never. You got to push her to that title match, or otherwise, what are we doing? Mina is going to be a world champion at some point. She's just too good. But I agree with Sammy. Something just didn't click in this match that I thought should have. And as for the mystery opponent, I'm going to say it's Britt Baker. Why not?
Ooh, you're going hardcore. Yeah, if the mystery opponent is not somebody big, I really think that Athena is your only choice to win this tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless they pick Alex, as then
Reasons.
that's still, I don't know. I think Athena is the best bet if the mystery opponent isn't somebody of note. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the AEW Continental Championship match. And remember, this was going to be under no time limit, which there usually is a time limit. Your champion, the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, taking on the Conglomeration's Kyle O'Reilly. This match got 18 minutes and 45 seconds. At the end of the day, your winner and still AEW Continental Champion, Jon Moxley. This was a little odd to me because I was like, it was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
These two have good matches. They have good chemistry. At the end, we get a handshake. Obviously, earned the respect of one Jon Moxley did Kyle O'Reilly. I'm kind of confused why to keep the belt on Moxley. Not saying that I don't like Jon Moxley, but you could also be moving him in a different direction. But hey, what do I know? Miss Sammy, what's your thoughts on the Continental Championship match?
Didn't really do it for me. Didn't really enjoy it. Didn't really love the storytelling. Didn't really love the match. So this just wasn't it for me.
Get him.
It happened. We always remember the ending. And the thing is, this was the time, if you're going to do anything with Kyle O'Reilly as a singles wrestler, this is the time to move the belt. Moxley doesn't need it. But now the question is, where do you go from here? And especially leading into All In, which we have to speculate a little early. I don't know. I mean, I think there's just so much up in the air right now. It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're going to have him be the final boss to fight Will to get to All In, which then again, where are you going to have him belt for belt? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't get it either because I would assume that you would do the final boss kind of situation. But then again, it wouldn't be at Forbidden Door, it'd be after because it's in between. I don't know. Speaking of Will Ospreay, though, the next up is the first of two men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal matches. And that, of course, would be the aerial assassin, the Billy Goat, the newest member of the Death Riders, Will Ospreay, taking on the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. This match got 13 minutes and 55 seconds. At the end of the day, winning the match and moving on in the Owen Hart Cup would be Will Ospreay, to no surprise. I will say, before I pass it on to you, Ken, match was good. I would have loved to see Will Ospreay versus Samoa Joe in Samoa Joe's prime.
Mm-hmm.
However, one thing that I will note of this match, Will Ospreay definitely has a killer instinct now.
Yes.
Very high tempo, very high pace. Let's see if he can keep that attitude up. Ken, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought this was predictable, but very good match. And I agree with you. If it was Joe in his prime, this would be a hell of a match.
Absolutely. Sammy?
I didn't love the finish, but overall, otherwise, I did enjoy this match. And there were a few points where I thought Joe might actually win this. They might kind of continue that story of Will just not having his mojo, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and like I said, I really, really liked the fact that we got to see that more aggressive side of Will Ospreay. Obviously, still building, but I thought that was really cool. It's showing that Death Riders camp is paying off for one Will Ospreay, preparing him to go towards the AEW World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Next up was the other men's Owen Hart Cup quarterfinal match, and that would be between the most dangerous man in pro wrestling, Swerve Strickland, taking on Bandito. 15 minutes and 20 seconds is the time, and the winner and moving on in the Owen Hart Cup is Swerve Strickland. Of course, we speculated that was probably going to be a thing. We speculated when we first talked about the Owen Hart, there would probably be Swerve versus Will Ospreay in the finals even. So no surprise there. I like the match, but I don't know. Maybe went a little too long. Your thoughts, Miss Sammy?
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially in a match where, unfortunately, it's kind of predictable to know who was going to win this. Did we really think Bandito was going to win this? And don't get me wrong, I like Bandito, but did we really think this was going to be that way? No, we didn't. Swerve still got his aura, though. God,
No, absolutely.
He just command a crowd.
Can him.
When you face the crowd in front of Madison Square Garden after the Knicks defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals, you know you're the most dangerous man in AEW, and that's what Swerve did because the camera did. He showed himself down in that crowd. So listen, we all knew he was going to win after that. So in this situation, this was going to be all Swerve all day. I mean, this is why he had to win, and this is going to set up a hell of a final between him and Ospreay.
I love Swerve. I think I hope nothing but the best. And also, I do also believe that he's going to win through. I will say this, though. I have one judgment, Swerve. Literally, the night before, on Saturday's main event, Jade Cargill and her team wore the Michael Jackson gimmick. They did it better, unfortunately. Where was the glove?
Yeah.
Like, Swerve, man. Swerve, let me down a little bit. He did the dance moves.
He usually crushes it on the pay-per-view outfits.
And if you would have saw that the night before, gotta move up a little bit.
Yeah.
Throwing out there. All right. Next up, the was a 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Your champion, the Toxic Spider Tekla, taking on former champion Hikaru Shida, former champion Jamie Hayter, and also former champion Chris Statlander. That's right. Everybody in this match was a former AEW Women's World Champion. This match got 14 minutes, but at the end of the day, your winner and still the AEW Women's World Champion, Tekla. I'm more than okay with how this match ended. Once again, I think Tekla should win for a while until you give her a big enough opponent where she can't win. Because I think the world of Tekla in the ring and out of the ring. Ken M, what say you?
I agree 1,000,000%. Tekla winning this was a perfect call. And yeah, unless you have her versus Athena, which, I mean, that would be a dream match. There's no reason to take the belt off her for a while.
Sammy, what you got?
Yeah, the match was good. I did enjoy it. Sometimes 4-ways can be tough, and in any 4-way there can be some chemistry issues. There were one or two things here, but overall, this was a really, really fun match. But again, kind of a predictable ending, and Tekla walking away with the belt. I'm okay with that, but show had had a couple of really predictable matches, which does kind of knock down the overall grade on the show.
Yeah, but once again, still a good match. And you were absolutely right. 4-ways can definitely be a hard-earned fight. Next up, though, speaking of hard-earned fights, it was Stadium Stampede time. Of course, we had Jericho with the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and the Elite, Kenny Omega and Jungle Jack Perry, and the Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, taking on The Demand, Ricochet, Bishop Kong, and Toa Leona. And then, of course, the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, and Andrade El Idolo, your IWGP Global Champion. And last but not least, the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay. This match got 31 minutes and 15 seconds, and I felt every second in my bones, except for when I kept the streak alive of falling asleep during the Young Bucks match. Sorry, Young Bucks, I love you, but it happens. I was tired. It had nothing to do with it. Your winners, of course, the Jericho, Hurt Syndicate, and the Elite team. I'm going to just say this before I pass it on to you, Sammy. Why was this a Stadium Stampede match? Because they didn't really do any Stadium Stampede kind of things. It took place mostly in the confines of the ring or the rampway. We had one cut to backstage where we got a Leo Rush sighting. Ooh. And I just don't get it. Like, I was ready for, like, years past, we talked about it. You had bodies hit. They're fighting all over the stadium. I understand in New York, there's a lot more stricter athletic commission rules. But I don't get it. Sammy, your thoughts on the Stadium Stampede match?
This was a match. This was a match. We got, a WWE style food fight in the back. Yep, we had one of those. We found out the Satnam Singh's still employed. Hey, collect that paycheck. Good for you. We had kind of fantasy booked this a little bit, and we had talked about like a couple of cinematic type moments. I think that would have worked a lot better than what we got here if you'd just gone that route and then let them kind of come out at the end all beaten up and finish it up in the ring instead of it just didn't work.
Get him.
-5 stars. This is probably the worst Stadium Stampede match I think we've seen. They did not take full advantage of what that whole match was supposed to be. I'm sorry. The food fight was very WWE-esque. I'm sorry. And AEW usually goes crazy in these moments. And I felt that they just, maybe it's because the athletic commission, I don't know what, they just played it too safe. And it just did not feel like a Stadium Stampede match. The Leo Rush thing was just a misfire completely. That should have been your Eddie Kingston spot. Just have him in the hallway reasons. It just happens and you go from there. But this just did not feel like a Stadium Stampede match at all.
Amen to that. I'm with you there. Next up, and lastly, was the main event of the evening, title versus hair match for the AEW World Championship. Your champion, Darby Allin, taking on the devil himself, the generational superstar, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. This match got 23 minutes and 10 seconds at the end of the day. Your winner and the new AEW World Champion, MJF. And oh boy, where do I start? Where do I finish? Darby Allin crashed and burned early.
Mm-hmm.
He took that bump on the head a little hard.
Yeah.
There's that. But overall, I felt like this was not the best of chemistries. And then the headlock takeover gimmick is just done to death. Like, you should have ended with the fact that Darby won that way to get his comebacking on. It made no sense to have MJF do it. It really didn't. And it didn't add anything to the match. And once again, I know Sammy said this earlier, predictable. This was the most predictable thing on the card. Ken, your thoughts?
I agree that this just did not click. Darby hurt himself early. I mean, in my opinion, like, he just did not recover to really pick up the pace of the match. And I thought MJF and him had a good match. It wasn't terrible, but for being in the main event spotlight there, I felt that it just didn't click for whatever reason. The headlock gimmick is dumb. I'm sorry, at this stage, there's no point to it. I don't care if it's like their history and whatever it is. You should just let it go, because it did absolutely nothing other than give extra heat to MJF that he didn't need. And then the post-match shenanigans was another thing too.
Yeah, we got Kevin Knight taking out Darby Allin in a surprise, like, what the is going on moment. I was okay with him turning heel, but that was definitely a surprise. Sammy, your thoughts on the main event?
Just didn't work. You know, in the whole Darby title run thing overall, we didn't really love it. They did make it work. The title run overall, they did make it work. It wasn't the greatest title run of all time, but they did make it work. It told an interesting story. This just wasn't really the greatest way to cap it off. And like you guys said, the headlock takeover thing, it just feels like MJF came up with it, like in the back, like, this is a great idea, blah blah blah, and then like just doesn't want to give it up. Like, no, that's my thing. I came up with it. It's just, it comes off kind of petty at this point. Like you said, he did it. Darby did it. That should have been the end of it.
Yeah, well, MJF had already done it twice. This is the third time he did it.
Yeah, like
did it twice before. Then Darby does it to get that. Once again, makes sense when Darby did it.
Yeah,
because you get your come up, you get get backs right.
Come up with something new.
And I made the comment when we were watching it that, like, MJF really needs to come up with a finish. I understand he does the salt of the earth armbar sometimes. I understand he does the heat seeker sometimes, but he doesn't really have a finish. And it's kind of, I mean, I know people are going to be like, you don't need one, but you kind of do.
Yeah, he does.
In his case, he does. It's kind of weird. Anyways, I digress. We're going to stay on AEW for a second. Actually, let's go out of the way. I'll start with you, Sammy. Final grade for AEW Double or Nothing.
A B+. Just a couple of the predictability, and then a couple of matches just really didn't work. But then you had some really good highs in the show, like the Adam, the tag team title match with Cope and Cage and FTR, Takeshita and Okada, like just right there to start the show. I mean, amazing.
Can him.
Yeah, I gotta go B+ too. I mean, they did a lot of really good things in this pay-per-view. It's probably their best pay-per-view they've done. I'd say in a long time. Like, everything really flowed well. There wasn't a moment where I felt like a match took too long. the Stadium Stampede was probably the only thing I'll knock down points for, just because it didn't match up to the predecessors. Like, every time you want to at least hit that level or exceed it, I just felt that that's where it was the real low point of the night.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. B+. I was going to say solid B, but B+. Reason why is just that Stadium Stampede didn't really do it for me. Predictability kind of drove it down. But outside of that, let's move on to talk about Dynamite real quick. So, of course, AEW has a tendency to not capitalize, because we can all agree with those takeaways that we had that Double or Nothing was still a success. It was still a really good show.
Yes.
And AEW has a habit of not, following up with a good Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to say, and we're going to open it up, that they kept that streak alive. And I understand some people online are bitching about the amount of wrestling on the show. That ain't the problem, Jack. It ain't the amount of wrestling on the show. It's the amount of the crappy segments.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just set it out. We open logically with Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. That's logical.
Yes.
Because of what happened. Now, mind you, neither of them are great on the microphone, but logical. But then quickly we find out, and I'm going out of order here, you have this great tag team title change, and now we have basically Cope and Cage jumped by the dogs, who have been jobbing to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then we get to the part where MJF comes out, and who comes out to challenge him? Mark Briscoe. And as much as I love the Briscoes, didn't we already do this program? Wasn't that program already over? And why? And I get it. MJF cut a promo on him to only be met by Roosh. Now, granted, Roosh is on quite a winning streak, but a winning streak over nobody's.
Mm-hmm.
To then set up a match next week. So now the one thing that I was critical of was Darby Allin defending the world title against everybody, because it's an attraction. I'm not saying you shouldn't defend it, just not every week. And I said, well, when MJF's a champion and you don't get defended because it's MJF, and he understands that. Looks like he's taking a page out, because next week we get Roosh versus MJF, which nobody asked for.
I think, though, in this scenario, but hear me out, I think this works, because I don't think he's going to have that match. I think there'll be some kind of shenanigans where somebody will run in and take him out.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe.
Well, probably.
Takes out Roosh.
Yeah, which is fine, because you know what? It'll say MJF, he'll run that gimmick like, I'll fight everybody, but something happens and he doesn't. And with the Briscoe feud, if you want to call it that, that's a quick plug and play to get from Double or Nothing to All In, because MJF is not doing Forbidden Door. At least I don't believe he is.
Probably not.
So, because he usually doesn't. That's the reason with that. So that being said, I don't have any issue with this, because I actually think this is a very safe play because of the history. It's a quick storyline. You rehash it for a little bit and then it goes away. But the Roosh thing, I think, is very interesting, but I don't think they're going to capitalize on it. I think because something's going to throw a curveball in that mix.
I'm just saying they're lobbing balls at Big Hebrew, as he calls himself.
Yeah.
Just want to throw it out there. Sammy, any more thoughts on Dynamite before we switch gears?
I like Roosh, but he's the wrong he's the wrong person. He's the right nationality, but he's the wrong person to be in that spot when you have Andrade, who's been so hot, and it's like, pivot into that feud, get that feud going, and let that feud continue after MJF loses at Wembley. Like, you can do one match and just keep that going, and then after that feud ends, Andrade can move right back into the world title picture. Like, that'd be kind of fun. I like Roosh, but you have Andrade there.
I just want to be honest. Sammy's only saying that because the pants come off. The pants come off of one Andrade, and we all know what happens then. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he's smuggling Microman in his tights. I just want to throw that out there. Just throwing it out there. No, we haven't seen Microman in a while. So
this is true.
Just saying.
Was he one of the mini Danhausen's?
No. Microman is a legend.
Mm-hmm.
A legend. Anyways. Everybody gets that joke. I just made a well-endowed joke. Anyways, there is no graphic for the next one because, quite frankly, I forgot that this even happened. But we're going to talk about it real quickly because I'm doing a rundown. And that was Saturday night's main event. I already tried to put it out of my head like one of those like battered spouse situations. It was not great.
Really, you didn't like it?
It was not great.
Wow. Okay.
It was far from great. anyways, this past Saturday, Fort Wayne, Indiana, Allen County War Memorial. Maybe I'm on the wrong side of this, but it's far from great. I'm just going to do the rundown. We can talk about it. The opening contest, 6-woman tag team match. Jade Cargill, Meechin, and B-Fab would defeat Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss in 16 minutes and 45 seconds. Next match, Sol Ruco would defeat Becky Lynch by disqualification in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. The match after that, and match of the night, and probably by only highlight of the night, WWE Intercontinental Championship match, your champion Penta taking on All Ego Ethan Page. The match got 14 minutes and 25 seconds. And at the end of the day, your winner and still WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta. Then we had the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match. Your champions, Paige and Brie Bella, taking on the former champions, the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend and Nia Jax, 8 minutes and 25 seconds, and still the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Paige and Brie Bella. And in the main event of the evening for the World Tag Team Championships, your champions, The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, taking on the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. This match got 16 minutes and 30 seconds. And at the end of it, your still World Tag Team Champions, The Vision. I will display myself because it seems Sammy is... Listen, half these matches didn't even need to happen. Half of these matches weren't even good. Sol Ruca, Becky Lynch. We waste 2 minutes and 25 seconds to set up a match in Italy. Makes no sense. We have the 6-woman tag match so we can set up Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley's rematch in Italy. We have Paige and Brie Bella continuing to be tag team champions for Ken. Get my back.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even drop a reasons.
No, because I can't even do it with that match. That's how bad it was.
And then, not only does Logan Paul get injured, unfortunately.
Oh, we gotta go there. Yeah.
But you have the weirdest finish of a match ever, where basically it's like the Vision, who is hated by everybody, just pillages the Street Profits. No Seth Rollins, no LA Knight, no anybody who would normally come to the defenses.
I can sum it up with one word now.
Okay.
Reasons.
There it is. The only match on this card that I even was remotely, I mean, it was good, was Penta and Ethan Page. And in that case, I still think they missed the ball, but dropped making Ethan Page the champion because you could move Penta on to bigger things. But is what it is. I'm not even mad about that. Just the better match. I'm going to go to Sammy first because I feel like Ken was almost on my side. So, Sammy, you like Saturday's main event, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, and I just had to add it up for you. We got 56 minutes plus of wrestling on a WWE show. That clearly beat the ad breaks that we normally get on a WWE PLE, because you couldn't really do that because you have to cut to actual commercials if this is going to be on actual TV and such.
It wasn't on actual TV. It's just on the Peacock.
No, I know, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that type of stuff that you would normally do on all the other platforms that you use. So, like, we actually got wrestling. We got wrestling on a wrestling show.
But did we?
Well, we got 56 minutes of something. That's more than what we get on other things.
We got 56 minutes of something, but I think the problem is that it was just quantity over quality. There was really no point to about 3 of these matches because it was just to extend it to get the Clash at Italy, which, I mean, it works, but that's what we have Monday Night Raw and SmackDown for. Like,
well, we don't do wrestling on those shows. That's the point.
Right, but so you're going to make everybody watch it on Saturday for what? The 2-minute match between Becky and Sol, which that was a train wreck.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I say, I'm too overwhelmed about what happened with Logan Paul that I couldn't even focus about Rhea and Jade because that was reasons. And I mean, the only match that had substance to it was Ethan and Penta because that's actually been a storyline they've been building up. They've been doing vignettes for. That is your main event. And as we've talked about here many times, the tag team wrestling division, WWE, is basically flatlined. And then, of course, when, you know, the most humble man in all pro wrestling goes down early and yet works through the match. Let's give him his props. Thank you. That was a monster performance right there. You know, he tried salvaging the match the best they could, but then it's like, okay, you're not going to make the title switch there with the Street Profits, so the Vision retains, but it's, and then we do an after match beatdown. Why? You know, like there's just, for what we got, it wasn't enough substance to it to make it stick. Like it just was like, okay, here it is. It's a solid show, sure, but like memorable. I'm struggling to even remember most of that card.
Right. And here's the problem. And my biggest issue with that main event is you have this long drawn out beatdown of the Street Profits in the finish, like after the match, right? No Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Like the big story is Seth Rollins versus the Vision, right? You eventually want to go Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker is my assumption, right? So why is there no comeuppance? Why doesn't Seth Rollins go out there and save the Street Profits who have saved him? So now it just makes it look like Montez has been right the whole time because Seth's a dick.
Yeah.
You've just thrown your baby face under the train for what reason? And I get it's not happening in Italy like Seth and Braun. Probably should.
Well, at this stage.
But
listen, we got a tag team title match as the main event on a show. We got 56 minutes of wrestling.
I love how positive Sammy showed up for Saturday's main event. First of all, we still did not get 56 minutes of wrestling. We got 56 minutes of in-ring stuff. Some of it was wrestling. Almost 17 minutes with Penta Ethan Page was wrestling. But whatever happened between Soul and Becky, not wrestling. No. Nobody will ever confuse saying whatever Paige and Brie Bella was doing as wrestling. Nobody.
No.
Not a soul on this planet. Not even the dog.
Listen,
he said no comment about this.
Listen, I'm just trying to get a PR job with TKO. That way Mark Shapiro doesn't have to go out there and put his foot in his mouth. We had a wrestling show with wrestling, tag team wrestling in the main event. See,
by the way, ask me off air sometime. Not you, Sammy, but in general, because I'm not going to say it on YouTube. I have a new tag team name for Brie Bella and Paige, and I think it's a fitting one. The dog does not like it too much, but it's a fitting one. I just can't say it on air. There you go. There's a tease for anybody who wants to go for a little late night. You know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the day when we were on the Wild West days on Twitch. Yeah. Oh boy, we would have had a whole sounder for that bitch. It'd be great.
Amazing.
What do you got?
Pat is shouting in.
Padawan J.
If this was a house show, it'd be great. But for somebody that I paid access to see, meh. That's a meh.
House show spectacular. Saturday's main house show is what it was. I love it.
If it was a house show, you would have had main eventers, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Logan Paul is a main event.
Hey, listen, Seth Rollins would have showed up if it was the house show to do the run-in. Yeah. Just not a Saturday's main event. Not for the Peacock, the Peacock, no. Oh, anyway.
What's that famous CM Punk rant where he's like, get Brock to work the house shows? No, none of them work the house shows.
All right. Well, let's bring it back. I do have a graphic for this one, Ken, because I did forget about Saturday's main event.
I don't blame you.
But I did not forget about Clash in Italia. We're at Clash in Italy. Of course, that is coming up this upcoming Sunday. Sunday, right?
Sunday.
From the Napoli Arena in Turin, Italy. 2 p.m. Eastern start time for those folks out there. 2 p.m. Eastern start time. Are my fine colleagues ready to talk about Clash in Italy?
Indeed.
All right, let's run through the car. We'll go by. Let's give our picks. Of course, chat, drop your picks as well. And we're going to open with the opening contest because it has already been announced that on ESPN. That's right, ESPN proper, once again. First hour is free. And that will include the rematch from WrestleMania between Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. So the match we didn't think we were getting because of a retirement is going down as the opening contest. Sammy, you go first. Who's walking out of Italy, your winner?
Brock's walking out the winner, and this match will not be as good as WrestleMania.
Okay. Kenem.
Time limit draw.
Oh, they don't do those.
They don't do those.
You know, in all honesty,
when's the last time you heard of a time limit in WWE?
That first free hour.
Don't
you think you're going to wrestle an
hour?
hour?
It'll be a long intro. We haven't seen the stage setup yet.
Brock's going to be gassed by minute 3.
No, in all seriousness, though. Oba should win this, but I feel this is going to be Brock because I think they're going to want to have one more match before SummerSlam.
Ready for this? I don't even think it's before SummerSlam. I think that it's out the window for Gunther versus Brock at this point. The writing's on the wall. You have to go with Oba. So you have to have him win so you can have the rubber match at SummerSlam. Career on the line. You might as well do it. Just because that way Oba can be like, you know what? Or you could have Oba win. And that's the reason the career's on the line because Oba's like, I ain't going to fight you again. I beat you twice.
Yeah.
That would be the punctuation, though. I think that either way, I think that you have to switch pivot. If it was originally going to be Gunther versus Brock, which is fine for the last match, I think you have to switch to Oba at this point. I think Oba's so over And the fact that you teased it at WrestleMania, it went over so well. Him actually taking the career is the better move. But once again, we say it all the time, creatively bankruptcy.
Yep.
Who knows? Let's move on to the next match. This was the one that was the banger that was set up at Saturday's main event, by the way, for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Your champion, the man, big-time Becky Lynch, taking on, listen, the hottest free agent to come to the main roster outside of Oba Femi, Sol Ruka. Ken, who's walking out of Italy, your Women's Intercontinental Champion?
If it's not Sol, what are we doing here? I mean, this has to be Sol Ruka at this point. Becky has done great things with the Intercontinental title, but let's face it, she is big time Bex. She should be in the main event. Liv needs somebody that's a good feud to build with. Sol
Liv's been doing nothing.
Right, that's what I say. But you have Becky come in there. Yeah, it doesn't take much. It can be heel on heel promo, and then you're off to SummerSlam. So in this situation, yes, Sol getting the belt, some might say it's too much too soon, but I think it's fine. And then let her build the program with like a Lyra. You can work some magic there. Bailey is in there. EO. I mean, you have a lot of competitors there that can really work with Sol and really start elevating that title even further.
From John Cena's last match event at Saturday Night's Main Event, which was a good Saturday Night's Main Event. So Ruka and Bailey have some unfinished business. You do have that for sure. I'm going with Sol. I don't think it's too early. Once again, the Intercontinental Championship is the workhorse belt. Becky Lynch is the main eventer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get her back in the main event picture. Even if she's not in the main event, she's a main attraction. She doesn't need a damn belt. The belt's already established. Moving on to the young talent so it can be fought over how it's supposed to be. And Sol's the perfect one because Sol's over. She's hot as hell right now. Like there's no, it's I don't think it's up to argument. As far as the main roster moves, I think Oba and then her.
Yeah.
And that's not taking away from anybody else because Javon Evans, of course, is doing great and Ethan Page is doing great. I just think they're the two most over, and that just speaks volumes for them. Sammy, your thoughts walking out of Italy?
What about Trick? He's saying
Trick's
he came
not a
too
call
soon.
up though. Trick's been up from the main roster for a little bit.
Yeah, I guess he has been up there for long enough. Yeah. So anyway, Sol Ruka. Otherwise, what are we doing? You gonna send her back to NXT? Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, I'm not counting Trick because he's been on the main roster a little longer. But, yes, Trick is over. Trick is way over, as he should be. Future world champion, throwing it out there. Next up, speaking of things that got set up at Saturday's main event, because there was such an important show, Ken. Not one, but two matches were set up there.
56
set up the whole card.
56 minutes of wrestling there. You heard it here first. The WWE Women's Championship is on the line in a rematch from WrestleMania. Your champion, Rhea Ripley, taking on former champion Jade Cargill. Do we see this ending any differently? I don't know. I get to go first on this one, right? I don't see it any. Mommy is going to still be on top as your still women's champion. Your pick, Sammy?
Yeah, and isn't this what Backlash is for? Why are we doing it in Italy? Yeah.
Backlash.
Why are we doing it in Italy? I guess whatever. Yeah, no, Mommy's going to win this, and Jade Cargill can go do other things.
I'm glad you said that, though, because if you think about it, Backlash only had one WrestleMania rematch. We got two on this card. Get him. Why are you even asking? Why are you even asking? All right, let's move into the last two matches. First up for the WWE Undisputed Championship, your champion, the American Nightmare, QB1 Cody Rhodes, taking on the career ender Gunther. This is an interesting one, because they've kind of built it up, kind of haven't. It's like a 50-50 booking at its finest.
It is.
Sammy gets to go first, though. Sammy, who's leaving Italy, your undisputed WWE champion?
You know, if WWE has any sort of funds left in their bankruptcy, they'll put the belt on Gunther. So I'm picking Gunther.
Cut him.
So this is how it goes down.
Oh boy, here we go.
You have the legend himself, the ring general, Gunther, taking on the Roselander. And sure, it's 50-50 booking. Sure, it's thrown together. But when Gunther wins, the first challenger, because if Oba wins, would be Oba Femi. But Brock is not ready to be done there yet, is he? So now you're possibly setting up for a triple threat at SummerSlam where Gunther is there, but Brock's stipulation to get in is his career. So if he doesn't win, he retires. And that's where you go there.
Yeah. But here's the stretch for this one. Here's the stretch. And I understand things be damned. Last I checked, correct me if I'm wrong, Gunther is a Raw competitor. I understand he's fighting for the SmackDown Championship.
No, he got traded over.
Oh, he got traded over. But Obafemi is definitely a Raw a roster member. Brock Lesnar doesn't have a roster because he's Brock Lesnar.
I think Oba would just go up and be like, whatever.
I granted Oba, who's going to stop Oba from strutting in wherever Oba wants to strut? The Oba strut gets him into anywhere. But my point of the matter still stands. Logic be damned there. I don't know. You guys have a lot more faith in WWE than me. Cody Rhodes is winning this match because of reasons. And moving on to whatever wasteless feud that they're not going to exist because somehow they've never booked Cody well as champion. I don't understand how they can't do it, but they don't.
Well, they teased a Punk feud. If you pivoted into that would be fun.
That would mean Punk would have to show up for work.
Well, you know.
He's doing other things right now. I thought, right?
Yeah, he is. But I'm assuming that they're saving that anyways. I'm assuming Punk's returning for Money in the Bank. We kind of all speculated on that because he kept saying if a title match should fall into his lap. He said a lot of.
Yeah, he alluded to it.
Hey, so make Cody work the house shows, all right?
Well, I'm assuming. I just want to throw this out there. I think you're right. I think maybe SummerSlam you get Punk versus Punk and Cody Rhodes for the belt. But I think you set that up. Unless he wins. Are we still doing a King and Queen of the Ring there at Crown Jewel? I don't even. Is Crown Jewel even happening? I like with the state of the world. Do we even know any of this?
Honestly, I don't know. I honestly have no idea right now.
I don't know. I wish I could use that sounder.
Yeah.
We love them. Anyways, let's go to the main event of the evening. It is tribal combat for the World Heavyweight Championship. Your champion, the tribal chief, the big dog, Roman Reigns, taking on the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. As you know, Ken, he's all gas, no brakes.
Yada I mean.
Interesting. I love Jacob Fatu. I love Roman Reigns. I thought that this has been put together as good as Bloodline 2.0 could be put together. Or 3.0. We're at 3.0 though? 3.0. Here's my problem. Starting it off before I let you pick first, Ken. My issue is this. And I want to be careful because I understand people are going to like nitpick it because there's not a million members. But when does the Bloodline start to feel like the NWO in the dying days of WCW? When we just keep going back to the story over and over and over again, with nothing new happening. Now, the question here is something new going to happen, Ken?
Yes, because Jacob has to win because I don't want to see him go in the Sol Sikoa role for this Bloodline 3.0. No, like, I'm sorry.
I love you, Roman.
I mean, as much as that would be great if he can just run around and go crazy, but what are we doing here? Because unless you're gonna go Roman Oba for SummerSlam because of reasons, Jacob has to win because it doesn't make any sense unless you're going to extend the Bloodline like you alluded to with the NWO. It's going to have more members they know what to do with, and then it's like whoever the challenger is going to have to fight through everybody by the time you get to Roman at SummerSlam. So you have to, like, that's the one problem of doing this, because now, okay, let's say Roman wins. Jacob has to acknowledge him and join the Bloodline on Monday. Okay, well, what's that going to do? And I'm sorry, the new Bloodline is not getting over. Like, everybody loved that classic storyline. This one's not doing anything.
So, both roads for me end with the new Bloodline, unfortunately. However, one is a little more interesting. So, the creative bankrupt, and probably what WWE will do, is that Roman wins, which sets up Jacob acknowledging him and basically Jacob becoming the I love you, Roman, for the time being, right? Which is, nobody wants to see that, really.
No.
I'm gonna be honest. The other flip side of that is that the Usos turned on Roman. Remember, Jay was saying about how it takes something from you. Jay has lost a tribal combat match to Roman.
Mm-hmm.
What if Jay, who has been whatever, says, well, you know what? This is our chance to finally get rid of this guy. And takes him out, or helps take him out, so Jacob Fatu wins. Because remember, not just on the line here is the World Heavyweight title. The Tribal Chief title is on the line.
Yeah.
So if you did that, once again, still ends in a bloodline, technically, right? But it's a little more interesting in my book, because that it's a little bit of a different dynamic. It's almost like a paint your own adventure. Mm-hmm. and not seeming more like the NWO and maybe seeming more like something different.
Yeah.
However, with that being said, it's probably going to be the first one I mentioned.
Mm.
Sammy, your thoughts?
I could not care less about this match, this story, this feud. It has been boring. Jacob Fatu is going to win because Roman Reigns doesn't want to be there. He doesn't have his heart in it. Punk took his heart out at WrestleMania because he gave it his all there, and now he wants to go back on hiatus. So Jacob's going to win, and Raw will be the better for it because this is boring.
I love it. I love how you're going into this. It does make me happy on some level that you're going.
Listen, don't get me started on Seth Rollins because he's next. Oh my God, boring. You're doing the same stuff as before. You've been doing it for 8 years now. Boring.
All right, so I promised there was something on the list that is not wrestling, by the way.
Oh,
there's a
So
picture.
it's not Saturday night's main event.
No, there's something on the list, but it involves our friends over at TKO. That's right. The construction has begun on the UFC at the White House. UFC Freedom 250, which goes down on Flag Day, which is June 14th. From the White House. You see that? Have you seen that picture yet or no?
No.
This is the first time seeing this. This is real. By the way, this is 100% real. This is from the Associated
Is that
Press.
the ballroom in the back? Sorry.
I know that's the actual White House, but there might be some remnants of what the ballroom is supposed to be. But anyways, why I even want to talk about this for a second, just briefly, because I understand it's not wrestling, but it does tie in because it's TKO. Is this? I saw that picture this week, and I understand we're doing this event at the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And I went I really just thought about this, and I said to myself, and I want to pontificate this out loud, Ken. So go along with me here for the ride. When's the last time we had a boxing match, MMA match, anything on the lawn of Buckingham Palace?
Never.
When's the last time? I don't even know what the palace would be called in Italy. The state's house in Italy was this happened.
Never.
When's the last time on the lawn of the Prime Minister of Japan's house has this happened?
Like I said, never.
And here's the best one. When has the Saudi prince ever had a wrestling match or anything on his front lawn?
None of knowledge.
None, because they built stadiums and did it in stadiums, correct?
Yeah.
Why in the hell is this country taking our house that the president lives in and putting a stupid event on the fucking lawn? And granted, this is the reason I'm bringing it up because TKO is such a piece of shit company. And Dana White is such a piece of shit person. Yeah, if you don't believe that, ask anybody who's ever gotten paid, or let's say not paid by him, that this was the great idea that they had with the wonderful president of our great nation. We are a laughingstock of the world, and here we are performing right on, it's the clown show. So what, he can stand in a balcony area, presumably, so he can be like Emperor Nero? Well, the rest of the country burns. We don't get too political on here, but this is fucking stupid.
Well, on the bright side, I mean, when he starts to fall asleep, he can go right to bed. He's already home.
True. I mean, you're being too positive about things these days. I don't know why. The drugs must be working. But my point of the matter is, why is this a thing? And yes, it ties in because TKO is doing the same piece of shit stuff with pro wrestling. By the way, folks, do you know why? You know what used to be one of the things that got criticized the most for WWE events is when Triple H would come out in those post-show events and go, we set the record amount of attendance for this building. We set the record amount of gate for this building. We set the record amount of this. When's the last time you heard that, Ken?
Oh, God, it's been eons.
Why? Because they've outpriced that shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not selling out buildings. They're not building up record attendance. It's being a company that was doing well, very well, is being ran into the ground because of stupid business practices. UFC has never regained, even after the Paramount move, from the damage the company did. TKO is such a crap company. It's not even funny. And this was your best idea? Ken, am I wrong here?
Like I said, this whole idea of doing this card there is mind-boggling to me. And I don't get it. I mean, yeah, it's a PR move, sure, but is it the right PR move? I don't think so. I don't want to get into full politics about it, but I'm just going to say I don't get the move. That's why we haven't been talking about it on the podcast. Because it is very polarizing, and quite frankly, I don't see the bang for the buck, so to speak.
Oh, I definitely don't see the bang for the buck.
No, just with the nonsense involved with this, no.
What do we got? Justin Gaethje versus Ilya Tupuro. We got Cyril Gane against Alex Pereira. We got Sean O'Malley versus Aman Zahabi. We got Derek Lewis on the card at least.
Well, that's because they wanted, President wanted him on there. So,
but that's fine. I love Derek Lewis.
Oh yeah, no, but that's because he's going against what's his name, Josh there.
Josh Hokett.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Like I say,
I don't know any of those names.
That's fine. You don't have to.
No, I mean, if you follow MMA, the UFC put the best fight card they had under contracted roster on there. However, though, they should have just done it at an arena instead of doing it on the White House lawn, because I understand what they're trying to do, and I don't agree with it on any level. So
I have a question.
What's your question?
Who paid who?
Nobody paid anybody.
Yeah.
So this is just free? Who's paying for all the infrastructure?
No.
I mean, I'm sure the taxpayers are.
I don't know that information.
At the end of the day, right?
I'm sure it'll come out sooner than later, but I'm pretty sure it's TKO.
I don't even think that.
Well, WWE with all the ads and WWE.
Dana White pay something?
I know. I think. Well, I don't know. That's what I say. Like, I'm guessing at this, folks. I'm not saying
I know. I don't want to dive deeper in. I just happened to, when that image came out, I was like, there's no way we can't address this, especially after I love ranting about TKO.
Yeah.
Love ranting about TKO. But there's a reason why we had a rather successful. Pat's got some chimed in. Let's go.
Yeah. So Pat has a quote, I believe, coming from Dana White. I built a card of people that I'm confident in and believe will show up for the fight, and then he took a shot at John Jones on the way out. Okay. Yeah, I
love the quote. The people that will show up.
The people will show up.
Yeah, I don't want to dive too much into this either, but and I don't ever think that I'm wishing this on anyone, but we are talking about MMA. We're talking about mixed martial arts, ultimate fighting. People get hurt. People have died. What kind of story is that going to be if, God forbid, someone dies on the White House lawn in this stunt? Like, what is that?
Well, I'm assuming that the president will be standing there doing this. Old Roman style. It's a gladiator event on the lawn. What do you want? My only thing is that I saw that, I was like, wow, and all the disrespectful things that I've ever seen. Like the house of the people, if you will, is having a fighting arena put on its lawn.
Out of all the broken promises that there's been, why is this one of the ones that came true?
Oh man. Oh yeah. Anyways.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll stay out of that for now, but I just wanted to get my ranting against TKO because, like I said, fuck them. And now you know why I'm not impressed with anything they're doing in WWE. It's.
Who do you think's going to be? Never mind. We'll talk about that after hours.
You talk about that.
We
can speculate after
hours.
I will say this. We'll say one name. I guarantee that Bob will be there. So Kid Rock will be in attendance. It is the most White House. It's the most white trash house trailer park fucking event of all time. There's no way Kid Rock's not showing up and singing American Badass instead of the national anthem. Oh, I'll put money on it. Is that by the way, is that a bet? Somebody out here find out if that's a bet on one of those sports betting apps, because I'm in. I'm putting money. But anyways, all seriousness, getting back to reality. Thank you so much, as normal, for tuning in. Please make sure you follow us on all the social medias. You can find them over at FanlightZone.com. You can also find a litany of amazing comic book reviews over there. 40 plus this week.
Yes.
40 plus this week. And I feel super tired, including the debut of one Miss Sammy writing some comic reviews. On top of all of that, make sure you smash that subscribe button, click that bell icon for notifications, and hit that thumbs up for Fanlight Zone's YouTube channel. If you're not watching us on YouTube, make sure you get over there after and do that, because we got some great stuff coming out in the not too distant future. We will be back next week to talk more things pro wrestling, including whatever happens at Clash in Italy.
Mhm.
We're waiting on bated breath for that one. And of course, anything else that's going on in the world of pro wrestling. But until then, for myself, for Miss Sammy, for Ken M, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and most importantly, later, wrestling fans.